Hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. My name is Paula McGurdy and I'm a visual artist, and the point of these creative conversations series that I'm doing is to speak to other female creative visual artists within this industry. So today we're going to be speaking to Jude Fenton, and Jude does these beautiful watercolours. So they are landscapes, and she does them on a kind of smaller scale. And it's really to have a little bit more insight about what she does and hear about her process. So let's go and have a chat to Jude now.
Hello.
Hi Jude, how are you?
Hi. How are you?
Thanks for joining me today, Jude. And what's your cat's name?
This is Jeannie. Obviously had to come and join in too.
Yeah, well, if she wants to partake in the conversation, she can too. That's fine. Or she might just take over. Who knows?
Who knows? She might go for a nap.
Who knows? How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
We're good. We are good. We are Saturdaying, and the kids are doing, I don't know, playing with who knows what, where. I'm not really too sure. I just closed the studio door and I was like, I take no responsibility anymore.
Yeah, close the door.
Yeah, you're in your studio there as well, I can see. Is that right? Yeah.
I am.
Yeah,
Yes,
nice.
I love it. It's just so lucky to have a space.
Your little escape.
Yeah, I'm sure you love yours as much as I love mine.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Sometimes I wish there was a little lock on the other side of the door, but anyway, why don't you tell us a little bit about your work and kind of how did you get into art and creating? Was it something that was in your family? Was it always there? Or what were the beginnings of kind of your art, your creating?
I was always a maker. Always a maker, always a drawer as a kid. You know, that was the happy place. Always happy when I was, sitting at a wee table, doing a wee bit of making and sticking and gluing, always. So then I just did that throughout school. I was always making things like little femo animals and selling them at break time and all.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And then I just did A-level art. I did history of art as well. I was kind of always on the cards. I was never really interested in anything else, I think at one point I wanted to be a vet, but then I realised, you kind of need to be good at science. And then that didn't happen, obviously. So that was about that. That's it, really. I just followed on. I did the foundation. I did mine up in Limavady. In the north, had a wee flat up there with some friends and did that, and then I went away to England and did textiles.
So BA in textiles,
printed textiles, yeah.
Printed textiles. Okay.
So that was really, my degree really geared me up for designing duvet covers.
Oh wow!
It was all repeat patterns and coordinates and ditzy florals. That was kind of where it sort of would have led you. But there's no jobs in that in Northern Ireland. I would have had to have stayed in London. Or I think there was some jobs sort of around Manchester at the time as well. But now, it really is all in London, and it's all computer based, which isn't not my thing.
Not your thing. So you didn't do, it wouldn't have been digital print, it was all like screen printing or
hand making your screens, dyeing your fabric.
I love it. Yeah.
Very technical, a lot of chemicals involved. Which I didn't really enjoy it until I realised that I could print something and then chop it up and stitch it back down. And then once I realised I could play with it after it had been done, then I was happy. It was all quite technical, and I wasn't great at, getting your screens to line up and, all that sort of stuff. It's just a bit boring for me.
Okay.
But yeah, when I came home then, I started my own business because there was no jobs. So then that's when I started making bags and accessories, and I did that for years.
And would they have been printed, or did you follow that route of printing them, or were they?
I wanted to, and I started off doing that in my mum and dad's garage.
Brilliant.
bought the equipment and stuff. But to print your own fabric, to dye it and print it, and then to make something out of it, it was just so labour intensive, and you could never get the money for something that was textile and handmade that would have really justified all that time and effort.
Yeah.
So I kind of learned that very quickly.
Which is the same with so many crafts and things, isn't it? Like those kind of industries, you know, they're huge amounts of labour intensity into them, and for the amount of people that do it that don't really make a huge amount of money is it just shame, I guess.
Like, I did really enjoy it, but then I sort of went down the road of doing trade fairs and stuff. So people would come in and they'd go, you know, have 10 of that and 10 of that, which was great. But then I became just like a production line, and the creativity kind of went out of it after a while. You know, I loved doing the new collection, but then it was filling all the orders where it was just like, you know, it just sort of stopped bringing me joy, let's just say.
yeah, I can get that, definitely.
Yeah.
So what about your work now? Like, how would you describe your work now? Because you do watercolors mainly, but I can also see, obviously, there's a lead into some textiles in your watercolors these days, isn't there? Which I love. Tell us a bit about that.
Stitching. I love a bit of stitching. Can't get away from it. So
I love the stitch on paper. There's something that my heart is drawn to that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I just love it. I just love stitching on paper, and you know yourself, like, it's a bit risky, especially if you've just done a painting that you really love, and then you start, especially with a machine, you know, you can wreck something so easily.
There's trepidation when you start going for, you're like, is this a good decision?
Yeah, like once the needle goes down, there's no going back, really, is there?
Yeah.
But I just love it. I just love that combination of paper and thread, you know. But then I'm in the Ulster Watercolour Society, so obviously they're very purist. So if I'm doing work for them, then there can't be any stitching or anything in it. So.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. They wouldn't be into a more contemporary angle on things, or?
Well, they're... like, a lot of the work actually would be quite contemporary, but it wouldn't be, you can't be mixed. They'll have
mixed media,
You can use inks. I don't know, there's certain mediums that you can use, but you could start stitching into it or anything like that. So some of it I'll keep, you know, quite just the watercolour. It just depends. You know yourself, some things like are crying out for it, I feel, and then other things I'm like, no, do you know what? It's fine as it is.
Yeah.
But, just enjoy it. I enjoy the stitching. So
it's therapeutic as well, I feel like. There's something quite therapeutic about it, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, and sometimes you can do a wee bit of hand stitching, you know, in front of Netflix.
See, a win-win situation. Dating and Netflix, I like it. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when you say that you had a business, Jude, at what stage did you figure out actually the business is turning? So you would call your work at the moment, that is your business. Is that correct? You would say that.
Yeah.
So when did you decide, okay, I'm pulling away from doing the bags and focusing on that to really kind of going down the other road of, was there a finite point where you thought, I can't do this?
There was me sort of having the bags and accessories, and I sold them to different boutiques and shops and stuff. But it really financially, you know, there's such a ceiling on what you're going to get for a handmade fabric bag. So I had to work. I worked in a shop on Saturdays, in a fabric shop, and then I did community art. So I was doing all these jobs. So out in the evening teaching, and then stitching, and then working all Saturday. And I just one day just went, I can't do this. You know, all this work, and like financially, you're still skint all the time. And I was like, no. And I just literally threw the head up one day and was like, I'm not doing this. Not doing it.
Yeah.
And I gave away everything. I gave away all my mannequins, I gave away screens, materials, fabric.
I love it. So
was like, I'm not doing it, and I swore I would never be self-employed again. And I tried, and then tried to get a job and was like, what am I going to do? Because I can't do anything. I'm not trained in anything.
I know, that's the thing, isn't it?
And yeah. And then I realised also I couldn't get job seekers because I had been self-employed. So I was like, well, this is great. So I had loads of different jobs then, just working all different sorts of stuff, you know, shops, hotels, all that. And didn't like any of them because I don't think I'm really employable, you know, in that way. But I ended up in food.
I think that's so true for so many creatives though as well, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. You just have that sort of like, well, why are you doing it that way? Why don't you do it that way? You know, people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear any ideas. They just want you to shut up and do your job.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just, you know, when you're just having to bite your tongue all the time and like, but I ended up in Boots part-time, and then I became full-time, and then I became a manager of the counter that I was on, working for Benefit Cosmetics, which I actually really liked in the end, you know. I liked all the customers, and it was a bit creative, you know.
It is. I guess the makeup is also an artistic thing, isn't it? You know, the creative side of things.
So I did quite enjoy it, but it was never really. I was there for 5 years, and it was never I never intended to be there for 5 years. But you know, once you start getting a wage, then it's you know, your life then expands to use all that money up. You're like, well, give that up, then where are you going to make up for that? You know, but then when I had Willow, I went part-time. So and then I sort of phased it out. I just started, I got to the point where I was like, I can't stand here and sell mascara anymore. I know I don't want to do it. And it was always somewhere else in my head. You know, when you're at a job that you don't really want to do anymore, and you're just like thinking, what can I be doing? If I was at home, I could be painting, or I could do
dreaming of it all. Yeah.
So I mean, I was lucky we were in the position that I could sort of phase it out, and in the end, financially, it didn't make any difference that I gave it up, because I was doing so few hours that, you know, it wasn't really making any difference anyway. So that's how it started. Really, you know, the phasing out then of that job, and then I well, obviously Willow at this point was 2, so she at 2 and 10 months up here, you can go to a wee play group. I don't know what age it is.
Similar. It's similar here. It's 3. Something.
So she started going to a wee play group, and it was like an hour and a half twice a week or something, and that was my time then for painting. And it just gradually, as she started doing more things, I got more time to paint. That was kind of the balance of it all. You know, you see people on Instagram with a baby under their arm and they're at an easel, and I'm like, I know. I mean, that just didn't happen for me.
That did not happen for me. But I look at people like that, and I think that's just a moment in time. That's not the reality of, you know, the rest of the day or whatever. But actually, that's something that I wanted to talk to you about as well. The whole motherhood and artist, and obviously you have Willow, who is now 7. Is that right?
Just turned 7.
How did that play out? Did you feel like that you were productive when she started going to play school? Did you feel like that those were your real hours of, this is my time to make and create, and this is for me? Or how has motherhood, the artist journey and motherhood, played into either your own work or your day-to-day of how things work, I guess? That's a lot of questions in one, but you know, pick one.
I suppose they are totally, you know, intertwined, really, aren't they? Because it is a balancing. It's a balancing act. I find I've never been able to concentrate on painting with anybody else around. Really. Be it a child or otherwise, you know, I had tried the whole kitchen table thing. Artists at the kitchen table couldn't do that either. You know, I like to be in my studio on my own with the door closed. So
me too.
I think it just grew as she sort of went then, you know, from playgroup to nursery, and I had then I had mornings, so then that was my time. And then she went to school and you got more time. It all kind of just progressed along, I suppose, with her. So, yeah, but I think it's finding, it's a learning thing, isn't it? And even now at the minute, with there being no school, that's a whole other learning. You know, in my head, I thought I could do a bit of painting. Well, maybe she did a drawing. You know, she's 7 now. That could work. And it doesn't work for us. Although I'm sure maybe it does work for other people. But you know, that was fantasy. And, you know, I can't. I can do stuff. You know, I can do orders and I can wrap things up and I can do part of my job, but I can't create what I feel is like a successful painting if there's other people around. I need to go off into some sort of zone, you know.
It's the flow, isn't it? The flow needs to be there. And if there's other people around, I'm the same.
Yeah, and you know what kids are like, the constant, can I have a snack? Can I have this? Can I have that? Will you see this? You know, that doesn't really make for a great painting. It is a balancing act, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any real words and wisdom of that. Maybe you do. Maybe you're good at
No, I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah. Particularly at the moment. But yeah, I think for some people who you see them with children and they're working side by side, I understand that that's a snippet of their day. And for other people, I think it depends on the kind of children's personalities that you have and what their interests are, what they're capable of doing, their abilities and stuff like that. And my kids are not like that either. So, and also I'm very much a solitary painter. I'm like, I just need to go and do it and feel like my head is clear. I feel like it's a clarity thing. Yeah. I'd love it not to be that way at certain times, particularly at the moment, but I'm with you on that, definitely. Yeah. So in terms of your style at the moment, you do a lot of landscapes, and I mean, we met way back when we did our tours together. Yeah. And that was just so great having you there. It was somebody else to kind of gauge things off and have a bit of chats with as well. But your work has changed quite significantly since then.
Much.
I know, even the other day on Instagram, you posted up something and it was what you've been doing. What was that, 3 years ago now? Was it 3 years? Was it?
Yeah, so I started painting basically whenever Willow went to that wee playgroup. So it was 2016. But I spent a whole year not on social media, like just painting. And just sort of finding myself as an artist. That sounds a bit rare. But, you know,
get it, yeah.
I just didn't feel the need to show it to anybody else. It was a very private sort of evolution, and I didn't, you know, feel the need to show anybody, or I really wasn't thinking about selling anything. Or
what an amazing time, though, to be able to do that. Isn't that amazing that you had that ability to do that without saying, I want to put this out, but it was just a feeding of yourself, I guess.
Yeah, and just enjoying myself, really, and taking time for me, which obviously I hadn't really done in so many years. So it was a really lovely, it was a lovely time. But I think you're always evolving, aren't you? You know, I sort of actually have kind of come full circle now, because my work now is more similar to when I was doing what I was doing way back in the beginning. I kind of went off on a tangent for a while and did a lot of bright florals, and which was what I remember. I did that big show, and my work is so different from that. And I don't know. I think it was just part of the process. Maybe in another 3 years, I'll look back and go, what were all those landscapes about? But, you know, I don't know. I feel like I found what I'm happy with at the minute anyway.
They're beautiful, Jude. They're really beautiful.
I know why I'm doing it as well, which I don't really think I knew what it was about then. I don't know why, you know, I didn't know why I was painting, and I didn't know I was just doing it because I had, I don't know, but that urge, you just want to be creating, you just want to paint, and you don't really know why. And if you're not doing it, you don't feel happy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very raw sort of urge, to create and make a painting. But lost my train of thought now. I don't know what I was saying, but yeah.
No, that's brilliant. I wondered about, in terms of the landscapes, do they have meaning? Are they specific places, or are they
they're memories?
Memories, yeah.
They're
memories. Lovely,
so
yeah.
They're all like a snapshot of time, a place, a memory. They're all, a lot of them are about, well, for a while there, a lot of them were about sort of family holidays. That's why so many of them are Donegal. And it's all, when we were kids, going to Donegal, and it always rained. And you were always cold and wet, and you were made to go out for a walk somewhere, and you were soaked. Or, all that sort of, the smell. But
really, you look back on them fondly, even though you were soaked.
Yeah. Now you're like, the picnics that you had in the car looking out at the hillside because it was Taman, and I just really love all those memories, and I'm trying to paint what I felt then,
beautiful.
And like the smell of the rain, like how do you paint that? But that's what I'm trying to paint.
Yeah.
So that's it'll be a feeling I'm trying to convey, and I think that's why I need time and peace and quiet, because it's quite emotional. It isn't just looking at a photograph and trying to recreate it. It is more emotional for me.
Yeah.
So
yes, nice, lovely. I can see them hanging behind you there. You certainly have a very select color palette as well that you use as well, which is very reminiscent, I guess, of exactly what you were saying. The countryside, or Donegal, and the sea, or the scenery, and it also being cloudy or rainy, and I think you capture it beautifully in your work.
I do love a good cloudy sky. If it's a sunny blue sky, a good day, then I'm not interested.
Well, you're capturing Ireland, aren't you? Really?
I know. Yeah. Give me a cloudy day any time.
Any day.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what brings you joy at the moment, or is there something? So obviously, we're in a very specific time, or Pacific, as my son likes to say, season in time at the moment. But in general, what brings you joy? And maybe another way of thinking it is, if you're in a rush and you're feeling, I'm having a bit of a block, but I want to do something creative. Is there something that brings you joy that you can touch into that or tap into that, and it'll kind of bring the creative juices back, or it helps your work in some way?
I have to say I'm quite lucky in that I never feel stuck creatively.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I have the other end of too many ideas and too many things I want to do, and I don't have enough time. The frustration of that would be more my problem than sitting down and going, I don't know what to do. But I suppose things that bring me joy would be, well, I suppose in terms of like, in general, it's all about, good company, good food, good wine. And then also getting out, I suppose, to make the memories that I can then paint. But obviously you can't go out, like some artists will go out to see a landscape so that they can take photographs and come back and paint it, whereas I'm painting a memory, so you can never go out with the intention of finding something new. It'll just have to happen. So I do like to go out and sort of have nice walks and all that, and just you might just happen to glance somewhere and the light is shining through some trees, and it's just like, there it is, there's the thing. Or maybe I'll not even know that till later, or I'll start to paint something and then the memory will come back. But if I'm in the studio, the thing that I just love painting. I enjoy paint in itself. That's a bit geeky, but like just the actual, especially with watercolor, I love how it mixes. I love how it dries. You know, literally one line on a page could just bring me so much joy.
I know, it's the blending then and the seeping in, and I'm the same. If I could do that all day, you're probably the same, Jude, instead of doing on the back end of the other bits and pieces, just to sit in and make. That's just it's so beautiful,
but
isn't it?
I think that's the learning, isn't it, in having, you know, in being an artist, is that the time that you actually spend painting is so little.
Yeah.
And the realization that you're really a creative entrepreneur. If you want to make money, you're not just an artist who sits and paints all day. If you want to sell them, there's a whole lot of stuff that comes with that. And that is the thing that takes all your time. And that's the thing that you're not taught in art college or
nothing.
Nothing. And that's the hard bit. It's not the painting. It's the rest of, you know, putting on all those other hats that you have to have.
The juggle of those. Would you say that is one of the bigger challenges that you would have of being creative or being an artist, or are there other challenges that you feel like you didn't really think about going into this? Or as you said, like in art college, they don't teach you any of this. What would be the challenges that you face as a creative entrepreneur, which is a brilliant way of expressing it?
What challenges? Well, I think my challenge really is just balancing time. Now I've sort of found a bit more of a flow of where I will set aside weeks to paint, and then the ones that I like, you know, I'll get them scanned, and then I'll decide which ones I want to make into prints, get the others framed. So there'll be weeks of painting, and then there'll be weeks of where I won't lift a paintbrush at all, because it'll be, you know, colour matching scans for prints, and it'll be, you know, ordering all your mounts and photographing things, and you know, all that, the other end. And I think working more like in a cycle actually makes it more enjoyable, because you're not thinking, oh, I should be painting every day. And when you do set aside for the painting, then you're not trying to do all the other things. You know, I have to separate the painting from everything else. And not even in terms of like trying to do emails or something in the morning and painting in the afternoon, that doesn't even really work for me. It has to be longer periods of time, I think, where I, you know,
I think it's interesting finding a rhythm that works for you personally, like in terms of work to make it flow better. Like as you were saying, being an artist or a creative isn't just about creating that one thing or sitting down and doing that thing the whole time, but there are many facets to it. And I think what you're saying is brilliant about trying to find some formula that works on probably a very personal level for each person. It's going to help us kind of flow a bit better, really, you know. So.
I think I'm trying to start working more in collections, so you know, there's more flow, whereas for a little while there I was doing lots of fairs, and I found myself trying to hurry out things and get things ready so that I would have something new for every fair that I was doing, and that was too stressful, you know. That was too it was too much of a fast turnaround. You know, I want to take time over these things, I think, and really let things settle and enjoy them before I sort of put them out into the world.
Yeah, makes sense, because there's a lot of pressure over fairs and things like that as well, so it makes a lot more sense, the whole idea of collection.
A lot of it though is self-made, you know. Like I could have been more chilled out about it and just been like, no, this is what I have, but I would put a lot of pressure on myself because I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to have something new and be all the things to all the people, and then you get to the point where you're like, no, you know, you need to make some decisions about what works for you, and also sustainability, because you could really burn yourself out very quickly, and trying to make some decisions with your business that sort of mean that there's better balance, and it's going to work over time as well, like long term. Just being more sensible, really.
Sensible, yes. So with that in mind then, as we kind of wrap this up a bit, do you have a big dream or a vision in terms of where you want to go with your work or your art, or do you want it to, I don't know, evolve or change more, or what do you see the big dream?
The big dream, I would love to be highly profitable.
Yes.
Which I do think is possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. I think we're really lucky. I think we live in the best time ever to be an artist.
Yeah.
I also want to be sustainable. And also my dream in life is really just, how you feel when you meditate. I don't know. You're a meditator, aren't you?
I meditate. Yes, I do. I meditate. I'd say the last couple of years I've come to it, and I'm like, why wasn't I doing this sooner?
I want to feel the way I feel when I meditate, only all day. Like, that is my dream, to feel that peace and that calm, and that, all is well with the world. And I would just love to not get caught up in, how am I going to do this and do that, blah, blah,
Yeah.
That, just to have that sense of peace and that's my dream in life.
A bit more calm throughout it all, yes.
Although, you see, everybody always says my work is very calm, so I think
work is very calming, yeah.
Don't know, I think that's maybe why I enjoy painting so much, because I find a very calming process, so I do obviously manage to transmit some of that onto the page.
Yeah, and I think also the painting is almost like meditation, isn't it? It's like that sense of a flow, and maybe that's why both of us like the idea of solitary painting. So just no one else around. I feel like that for me anyway, I always think that the painting is almost like that meditation state of, once you get into it and you're really focused, then you're in a very different mindset, I feel,
Yeah, you are. And it takes me a while. Like, it could take me a whole morning to be in the right place. It could take 3 hours of, messing about before I actually feel like I'm doing good work.
Some days the faffing is real, isn't it?
The faffing is real. But it's so enjoyable, the faffing.
Oh, it's a process. I think that's a mind rest as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a process.
But here's to the big dream. They're like, I think you're dead right. I think now more than ever is a brilliant time to be an artist, and for an artist, for it to be more sustainable, both financially, but in many other facets as well. So yes, absolutely. Here's to the big dream in that. Why shouldn't artists be able to make a very good living for themselves?
And you know what I would love? I would love to employ other people.
Oh yeah.
I think, obviously in terms of like them not having to do things that I don't see as my forte.
Yeah.
Like web design and all of these bits that, wouldn't be my favourite.
Yeah.
But also in terms of like, imagine having a business where then you would give somebody else the opportunity to be part of that and be able to sustain their family. Like, I think that would be a wonderful thing to do,
Yeah. Anyway. Amazing. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah. That would be
the dream of a PA is real. That's my thing.
Yeah. One day.
Or something similar. Anyway, so where can people find you, Jude? Where can they see your beautiful, wonderful, calming works? Where can we?
Well, you can find me on Instagram.
Yes,
Jude Fenton Art.
Yes. Jude Fenton Art.
Facebook,
okay.
Jude Fenton Art. My website.
Okay.
Jude Fenton Art. All same. Yeah, all same.
It's good. Continuity is good. Yes,
it is.
And you're also doing a hashtag at the moment. Is that right?
Oh yes.
And it's got a hashtag going. Tell us a bit more about that.
that is We Are the Beauty Makers.
Yeah.
And basically, I do usually do a lot of fairs, obviously not at the minute, but, and, talking to a lot of other artists and stuff, I just found so many people were very, they just don't feel that their work is worth anything, in terms of money, but also in terms of what it brings to the world. And I'm like, it's so important. It's so important to create, and that you can give beauty to the world, but more what a beautiful thing. And then I just feel it's so important that artists have a bit of self-worth, because a lot of them lack self-worth and don't see the importance of what they do, and I just think that's a crying shame. So anyway, that's how it started, is in somewhere where people maybe could support each other a bit. And my hope is that people, when they go in and look at it, will like and comment and support each other a wee bit. So, and now we've started this whole challenge, Beauty Maker Challenge, which is being something that's just kind of came about randomly, but so taking a painting, getting everybody to interpret it in their own way, and it's just lovely to see what other people do. The image, it's just interesting, and there's a wee sense of community about it, and it's just nice. I think for me it was a good focus, just to right, this is what you're doing today, this is a painting, do that, because my mind is a wee bit all over the place. So it's been nice to focus and for other people to join in. And Instagram is a lovely place for community and support. So if anybody wants to hashtag
Brilliant.
the Beauty Makers, then
We Are the Beauty Makers.
Join us.
Brilliant. I will put all of the various links down below to all your different. Oh, fancy! I have to figure out how to do it first. But anyway, this is a big learning curve. Let's just say it's a big learning curve. But I'll put all of the various handles down, and so people can find out where to find you and where to find a bit more about your work. But Jude, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's so lovely. So lovely to talk to you.
It's so lovely to talk to you as well, and have a little catch up. And I appreciate it so much. I'm sure others will too. And I hope that you see your big dream, and I hope you get to create much more beauty that this world needs, particularly at the moment. So thanks a million, Jude.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll be in touch soon.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
bye.
Ciao, bye.